So the question is media how they deal with COVID? Well, look, I mean, they try to present it in a way that is most likely to create angst in the population. There's just no doubt about it. I mean, for example, you have this situation. You saw it in Great Britain. You saw it in Israel. You saw it in a place like Gibraltar where there's 98% vaccination. You see these cases going up. Same with the Sun Belt, Florida, Texas, all these other states. You're seeing that. And I think they're not putting that in context of the fact that, these vaccines, while particularly for at-risk people, protect against, I think, pretty good protection against serious illness, clearly people are testing positive. I mean, it's not preventing positive tests. And so you're seeing that over and over again. At the end of the day, though, if you're testing positive and you have a mild or asymptomatic, that's not something that we should get spun up about. But I think it's not presented in the right context. And what I found is whatever indicator they can do to say is bad, they will do. If there's good indicators, you just never hear about it. You never hear about it. So what'll happen here, and we have seasonal viral curves with this. Summer is Florida's main season for whatever reason. So you saw it in Arkansas, some of those, they're now going down. We're going to get to the top of this thing pretty soon. It's going to go down. Then you're going to start to see it go in more northern parts of the country, the Midwest, some of these other places. It's going to kind of be the same thing. And I just think people should understand that when that's doing, if you are vaccinated or if you've had COVID, you have immunity too. Testing positive as somebody that's been vaccinated and then you have a very mild situation, that is not something that you would shut down society for. That's not something you should shut schools down for. It's not something you should do that. I just think what we've tried to do in Florida is not try to play off fears, not try to ratchet up any hysteria. Just understand, put the facts out, let people make decisions that are best for them, and particularly on the fact that, look, we had hoped with the vaccines that they would produce herd immunity, that you would not get infected, but we are seeing people test positive. I mean, I think you're probably less likely to test positive, but you are seeing that. So just put that information out there. Let people know that that's what's happening and that's what could be expected going forward. But always keep an eye on all these important things in our state, particularly our kids who are coming into schools. And I'll tell you, you go back last summer when we said we're going back. Oh my gosh. If you remember that hysteria, I mean, they were saying that, the kids, this is going to be so bad, all this other stuff. And here's what I knew. I knew that they had an agenda that they were trying to push. I knew what they were doing. But I also had data from Europe and from other places where kids were in school in person. And I saw what had happened there. And I saw what had happened in other parts of the world. And I saw that the schools were not a high-risk environment and that denying kids an education was catastrophic. And so why would we not make every effort to get them back in, especially given the data that we had at that time? And so we did it. We gave school districts, obviously, a lot of latitude. Some parents, we told all the parents, look, I understand there's a lot going around. People are saying a lot of things. If you want to opt virtual, that's no problem. We're going to give you the choice on that. And what happened was kids went back, and then as they were in for a week or two, the sky didn't fall. More parents started putting their kids in. And so a lot of the school districts by the end of the year, I mean, you had almost everybody. I really believed last year at that time that after 4 weeks of school in Florida, I thought every school would have to open. Because, you look at the data, you look at the results, and that didn't happen. You had schools that the kids were locked out for over a year in certain parts of the country. And my fear is they're going to use this now as a means to justify closures. Now, they're not going to get away with it in Florida, obviously, but I do think. But I do think that that it is something that's a danger for other jurisdictions throughout the country. And I do worry about playing footsie with closures and lockdowns in other parts of the country. I think that would be catastrophic. We know that those blunt mitigation efforts did virtually nothing to interrupt the viral curve. We know that, but we know it did huge damage to people. We know people's lives were destroyed, mental health destroyed, businesses destroyed, jobs lost, all those other things. So we don't want to do it. Okay, got time for one more. Yes, sir.
Stevens from the Florida Citizens Alliance. We've heard all the comments from the parents about how it's harmful for their children. Would you consider that kind of harm a qualifying incident for the Hope Scholarship?
Oh, I guess that's illegal. So we have Hope scholarships, and basically it's for students who've been treated poorly in school. I'm not sure. I mean, you'd have to look at the statute on that, but I will say this: you have seen an increased interest in school choice as a result of what's happened with COVID, because you remember the teacher union sued me to close the schools last year. We won the lawsuit, but that's what it was. And then there's other jurisdictions in the country where teachers were basically, maybe that's curtain call. There was other jurisdictions where they weren't able to get in. So I'd have to look, but I think at the end of the day, one of the things that's so frustrating about this whole experience is some of the people that are advocating for mitigation measures and mandates and stuff, they never acknowledge the harms of what comes with that. And you have to do that. And so, for example, when this all started, we knew nursing homes were going to be a big source of problem in terms of the elderly population. So I banned hospitals from sending the sick patients back into nursing homes. We limited visitation. We did a lot of stuff. And we were able to prevent some of the bad things that happened in some of the other states. At the same time, those mitigation efforts took a toll. And as we went on, I had to get those families reunited with their loved ones. We couldn't just do it indefinitely. So it's a balancing act. And I think we probably did the right thing because we reduced, we saved a lot of lives doing that. But at the same time, you had huge problems when they're not able to live normally with people coming in to visit like that. So we restored the visitation last summer, and we got that going again. And then obviously we prioritized nursing homes for vaccines, so we did all that. But we were always mindful of, okay, what could happen negative on this? And my fear and frustration with the things like the masks is the CDC's never asking questions about, okay, having a kid in a mask for 7 or 8 hours, is that healthy for the kid? What negative impacts are happening for that? Obviously, we've spoken with a lot of students. I mean, a lot of students just want to be able to breathe free. They don't want to have to do it. Very uncomfortable, but I think there may be more to it than just that. So any of these things that a school district would do, you can't just bat your chest and say, hey, we're fighting to slow the spread. You have to look and say, what is the ramifications of that? And I think after a year of being in school, we should be able to look at this and say, were those policies instrumental last year in engineering better outcomes? And I think we have examples of school districts that didn't do that, private schools, charter schools, and basically the outcomes were very similar. Thanks, everybody. I got to run. We'll see you.